Good morning, everyone. This is David Munoz. Thank you so much for joining our Saturday morning webinar where we try to sharpen our saw and just engage in conversation and just have fun with ideas and tools, new tools, old tools that will help us improve and grow our synergy business. I have the privilege of talking with you this morning to just talk about things that are very, very important. At least to me, it's very important, something that I'm trying to do all the time to try to grow my synergy business and retain my synergy business. One of the biggest challenges I've had, and I'm sure many of you that are in any kind of business, is customer retention. And I have tried to make it a purpose to learn a little bit more as we go, because we're never too old to learn, new skill sets that we can develop to try to increase the probability of retaining our customers, not only retaining them, but making them follow us, making them love us, and really become raving fans of us in whatever way possible. So I've done some research, excuse me, and I'm going to share some of that research. And I'm also going to share some of the tools I use to try to retain customers that have actually worked for me, share some experiences, some stories. But just taking it from the top, the last time I had the honor to talk here in the Saturday webinar, we talked about something called straight line selling. Straight line selling is really designed to close the sale, to transfer certainty, to transfer emotion, and get your point across so that the customer really understands. However, after the straight line selling, if I could call it something like life after straight line selling, you want to keep that relationship alive. You've established a relationship, you've built rapport, you've gotten your point across, you've closed the sale, the customer's purchased from you, you're happy. And now what's going to happen? Typically what happens is that go into that revolving door, right? And they say, hey, I wonder if I can get this product cheaper. I wonder if I can get it at a different location. I wonder if somebody else offers it. And that's going to happen. And you won't be successful all the time, but you can do things to increase your probability by retaining that relationship alive and strong. So that revolving door, as we can call it, will bypass the competition and come right back to you. So let's talk about some of the things that we'll do. First of all, Judy, you can relate to this. There's a healthy plant and there's a poor plant. And what I just say, look at is acquiring a new customer is like receiving a healthy gift. I'm not too good with plants, but I'm trying to get better with customers. And obviously, if you nurture the plant, if you take care of it, it's going to thrive. If you discard it, if you forget about it, it will not live very long. So I got some background noise here. So the business model we implement after the sale will determine if the relationship thrives or withers, right? So that's why we're going to talk about today the balanced and unbalanced business model, especially the model that occurs after the sale. We'll talk about the cost and lifetime value of customers, cost and lifetime value. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. I'll talk very quickly about the 10 ways we can keep customers coming back to you, to us, really, coming back to us because of the reasons that I will share with you. And finally, I'm going to really invite a few of you. I know that Dan and Judy I've already talked to, but certainly anyone who wants to share with us, because we're all here to learn, the one thing you do that really works, that impresses your customers and they want to come back to you. So let's talk about a balanced and unbalanced model. I can't take the credit for this. As you know, I go through a lot of resources, and this was direct from Brian Tracy, just a scholar in sales. And what he says, a direct sale to a customer today can cost over $400 in the forms of time, travel, advertising, lead generation, phone calls, and other expenses. $400. Acquiring a customer at this cost can put a company out of business unless the client buys again and again. The best salespeople and the best companies implement a strategy to acquire customers and keep them for life. Our goal today is to share strategies that will help us develop long-term customer relationships and hold them in the face of ever aggressive competition. And if you look at the business models above, you'll see that I am guilty of this. I have to say that. So I say I'm expert in messing up my relationships because I'm in a learning experience. I come from a structured environment in banking where everything was given to you and you had models already pre-designed. When you're an entrepreneur, you have to be able to tap into resources that will help you grow your business. So on the right-hand side is where we want to be. We want to acquire that customer, CAC, cost to acquire the customer, maximize that cost in advertising, in getting our sales models to work, acquiring business skills, learning the straight line system, getting our skill sets there. And we finally got that sale. And what we want to do is we want to see that straight line really go in an upward curve and monetize that relationship. So let's talk a little bit about why customers stop using your service. This is courtesy of the Rockefeller Group that I'm borrowing their template. The customers really, in their illustration here, show that the customers leave mostly because they feel you don't care about them. Maybe you cared about the first sale, but then they never hear from you again. The customer's dissatisfied with your service. That's 14%, between 68 and 14%. That's a big chunk of it. We lose customers all the time to competition, and we'll talk about that in a minute, how we can help offset that. Sometimes customers are talked to from friends and families, and we'll talk about that too. Why maybe people outside our sphere of influence can ruin a good relationship. We can't do anything about the 1%ers, so we'll leave the 1%ers alone. But let's continue here. Okay, so whenever we follow up with customers, and I thought this slide is important because when I pick up the phone and I talk with a client, or when I go on a webinar, or when I Zoom session, whatever it is, I smile. I like that. You have to have a mindset. You have to have your skill set ready with a smile on your face, because when you smile, even though they can't see you smile, as Zig Ziglar said, a smile is a curvy line that straightens out a lot of things. So when you smile, it really puts you in the right mindset. So when you hear the customer's voice and you respond to them on the other line, you smile. You just convey your happiness to them, or positivity. So here we go with the tips. Okay, 10 tips. So get your if you want to take notes, please. If you want to ask questions later on after the webinar, please do. Just unmute yourself. But tip number one that I found really is so important is always focus on the second sale. When you are talking to the customer, the first sale certainly will be the most expensive to you. As we mentioned in a previous slide, it can be the most expensive because here's where you invest your time, money, and energy. But the second sale is the most important. And the reason it's the most important is because this is you're going to be monetizing the sale. So in the course of the conversation, when you're talking to the client, you have to remember that as you're talking to the client, you plant in their mind the benefits of using whatever product, in my case, nitric oxide therapy. Nitric oxide therapy is not a sprint. Nitric oxide therapy is really a marathon. It is a commitment. It is a decision to change your life. This change, the first step will be the first 120 days. That is the first step. I tell my clients, the first step, you may feel different in 3 weeks, as most of my customers do. Within 3 weeks, they feel an enormous change. Some feel less pain, some feel more energy. But the big commitment is 120 days. Now, after 120 days, I know you will come back in order, because most of my customers do. You will come back. So what I'm telling the customers in the course of the conversation that we have already closed a deal is I'm already talking to them about the second sale. I'm preparing them to buy again. I'm telling them they're going to feel the incredible difference, and they're like many of my other customers will come back and want to continue to improve their life, depend less on meds, and have a commitment for life. So that I've already planted it. Now, where they're going to get the product, we'll approach in a moment. So that is tip number one. Always focus on the second sale. Make that part of your verbiage. Assume that the client will come back to you. So tip number two is set the expectations. You're going to tell the customer when you talk to them, says, you're going to tell them what the product's going to do for them. What are you going to feel? In fact, I'm going to mail you something separate from your order. Like when I take customers that we order direct from the distributor, I'll say separately, I'm going to send you something, and you can expect two mailings. You'll expect the product and you'll expect my mailing. So tell them what to expect, how they're going to feel, what kind of reaction they'll have, what to expect from you. You can expect me to follow up with you. I'll probably after the first couple of weeks, just to touch base and see how you're doing. Is that okay? Yes. Great. Because I really want you to know that I care. And I want to know that I'm going to be following you through the course of your transformation. This is fun. What to expect from your family, friends, doctors, as you invest in your health. And I'm sharing this because it happened to me. Okay. When I first started using Synergy products and I brought home the polvo, because in Spanish, that's dust, polvo. They say, so what is that polvo that you're pouring into a cup? What is that dust or those grains that you're pouring into a cup? And I'm saying, well, it's something designed that's going to help me really improve my, cardiovascular health, the eyes rolled. Oh, what do you pay for that? Right? So I have to prepare my customers to the reaction, the negativity they may have from others, and remind them that this is not your average product, and remind them why I chose it. And of course, this is why many of you chose it. Why? Remind them that you had three things that you were looking for before you bought, because you're very skeptical. I was. One is this medically recognized? We know the answer to that. Two, are there testimonials? Who came before me? Who's tried this before me? Who's transformed their life before me? And three, am I wasting my money, or do I get my money back if I don't see a difference? Wow. I says, are you kidding me? I can get my money back if this doesn't work? I knew what my levels were. I was a pre-diabetic. I knew I had serious cardiovascular issues. I wanted results. I wanted to see a change. When you share that with clients, when you share stories, this is a different product. So get them in the mindset of what to tell their families. Now, the doctors is something else, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to offset or argue with a doctor. I cannot put myself at that level. However, I will say that most doctors, what most of my clients tell me when they discuss this with their doctors, as my doctor did, he looked at it, shook his head and said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because it's working, period. That's what I tell my customers. Your doctor's going to tell you, whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it because it's working. Okay. The goal should be to reduce, hopefully get off meds and do it with the help of your doctor, and see that your family and your friends and the people see the transformation in your life. And when they see it, boy, you and I, Mr. Customer, are going to celebrate. We're just going to have a great time. And then this is really important too. I'd say tip number 2 is probably the most important of all these slides. What to look out for. The importance of buying only from you. You're going to be asking for loyalty. When you talk to your customer and say, look, you can buy this on online platforms. You can buy this on auction sites. You can buy it other places. And you might at times find it cheaper. However, this has been my experience in the last 8 years, 3 years, 2 years, however time you are in the system, or this is what I've heard from my other distributor friends, that when you buy from online auction sites that are not recognized by Synergy worldwide because the distributors are unknown. Again, The distributors are totally unknown. You don't have a distributor number. You're buying it from a site who you don't know who is selling you the product. It could be tampered with. I've had a personal experience where my customers ordered it and I went to their house to deliver my product. She pulled out her product that her son ordered for her, totally different product, totally different brand. And they thought they were ordering the same thing. So they may be expired. You don't know because you don't know. And the most important thing is the synergy. You may lose the guarantee from the distributors. They will give you a 120-day money-back guarantee, which may be voided if they cannot identify who sold it to you. So, we're talking about your health. We're not talking about tools, threads, or toys, which is great on auction sites. I buy it myself. But when it comes to your health, let's be serious and let's make sure. I want to be a resource all the time. Can I ask that from you? And wait for the answer, okay? So your goal is to make this person your raving fan. And I'll tell that to my customer. I want you to be, I want to make you my raving fan because I want to make sure we work together to see the transformation in your life. Okay, whatever goal it is, losing weight, cardiovascular transformation, whatever goal they have in mind, you just reemphasize it based upon what you learned. If I could go back to the straight line selling, the first step is to build rapport, gather intelligence, understand their expectations. Then you use it during the course of telling them what to set the expectations, which you're going to repeat back to them. What you know for sure is going to be a result of using whatever product, whatever product you're selling. So let's go to number 3. This one is basically something that's really helped me a lot. This is my box. These are my labels. I call it easy reorder label. If you are carrying inventory, if you have ordered a jumbo +1 and you're going to sell the box, put a sticker on it, just with your number, and just say easy reorder. You can even write it. Look, Mr. Customer, I'm going to write my number here. So when you go low, if you want more, please just call me at this number. Write it on the box. Obviously, the other stuff you should already have are your business cards. You might order magnets so that they could put it on the refrigerator with your number on it, and they'll know that when they run low, they can order from you. So make this note. It's a great one to have because they will reorder. They know they're running low. They feel the transformation. And if they don't know, if they lost your number, believe me, I can't tell you how many people call me and say, Dave, I just wanted to call you, but I lost your number. That's what caused me to put on stickers. Tip number 4. Again, something that's worked with me. I purchased a bunch of thank you cards from the online auction sites, which give it to me wholesale price. And I express gratitude. And I just write a personal note. I says, dear client, thank you so much for your purchase and the opportunity to share what I have done to grow old younger. That's how I say I grow old younger. Talk soon, or it was great to meet you, or great to talk to you. I know you're going to have a big difference in your life. I just want to thank you. We'll be in touch. So simple to do. Just keep a stack of cards near you, and after the sale, just send it out, and the customer will appreciate it. So tip number 4, express gratitude. I know you can send an email. I know, okay, I know you can send an email. That's fine. That's good. But you know what happens? I get so many emails every day. By the end of the day, I catch up my emails. And quite honestly, I don't get a chance to read them all at the end of the day or go through them. So I may wait another day. So it's almost like receiving a bunch of junk mail and you go through it and then you just look at the bills. They may not read your junk mail unless it's distinctive, it's different. Another thing that I don't have here in the presentation. But when I mail my thank you cards, I usually use a distinctive envelope, either one with a sticker on it that says thank you, or I'll use a blue envelope, something different that differentiates from the other mail. But certainly do send a thank you card. Tip number 5. Okay, we're back to watering the plant as in the first slide. You have to nurture the relationship, so you follow up. This is something that it's almost in every webinar. We have to follow up. So I refer to tip number 2, which is, set the expectations. You tell the customers, you know what you can expect me to call you in a couple of weeks. You're calling them in a couple of weeks. So you follow up as promised, or you call them, or you just text them, or you email them. And you have these pre-scheduled touches, which I'll talk about in a separate tip about how you can pre-schedule your touches and organize yourself a little bit in terms of following up. So certainly this is something that's really shouldn't be on the slide, but I'm including it because it's an important tip. Number 6, add your personal touch. During the discovery phase of your initial conversation with the customer, where you're building rapport and exchanging pleasantries, they're going to talk to you about different things. And don't spend too much time on it, but as you follow up with them and as you talk with them, you might look at your notes and see what the pets they had, vacation spots they went to, the snow, the kids, the hobbies, the schools. When is their birthday? If you can get them to at least to give you the month and days. Hey, man, you don't mind sharing your birthday? I don't want to know the year. Don't tell me the year. Just tell me the month and date. I just like to touch base with my customers, if you don't mind. And of course, do it. If they give it to you, do it. Send out birthday cards. I have a separate service. I was going to include it, but if you want more, you can certainly call me later. But I use a service. I have people send out birthday cards to all of my clients, and it costs about $3 a client. But what a way to stay in touch. They write it, handwrite out my greeting. They handwrite the envelopes. They put a stamp on it, and they mail it for me. For me, it's worth $3. I got 100 customers. I'll pay $300 a year. Absolutely. 200 customers, 600 a year. That's why you use your synergy money for marketing. That's why you put aside money every month when you get your synergy checks, when you get your elite rebates. Put it aside, invest in yourself, invest in your marketing. And when you can make your life easier by having someone else send it out, all you do is provide the name, the address, the birth date. It makes your life a lot easier. And guess what? They call you and they thank you. So you retain the relationship. Very important. Okay, so tip number 7, take a look at this. So you have a customer that's bought against for you. I have customers that have been buying jumbos from me for years. And I surprise them. You make $42.50 if you've done your auto ship right every time a client buys a jumbo plus one from you. You make $42. That shaker you see there, Synergy sells it for $10. Tell me you won't invest $10 in a client that's been buying from you for years, maybe buy 4 jumbos a year. That's over $100, and you won't invest $10 for them and $13 shipping or $7.50 shipping just to send them a nice gift. So invest again in your pens, invest in your samples. What I do is you see the immune booster sample. I print out the immune booster fact sheet. You can print out the E9 fact sheet. You can print out the pro-arginine fact sheet, put it in a little baggie, send it to the clients with a thank you note with a pen. Say, I appreciate you. Look, I just wanted to share something. And that's it. And that has led to other sales. They'll ask me about it and they'll buy. So be sure to just take a note of that. Shaker bottles, fact sheet samples. Synergy, I call Synergy up and I said, hey, when are you going to come back with the pens and the keychains? They say, well, we're working on it, which is great. And we want them to have the apparel. We want them to have the little gifts that we can share with our clients. So when that comes back, capitalize on and take advantage, because I want to talk a little bit about gold chain clients. When you create gold chain clients, these are clients that are satisfied. These are clients that believe in you. These are clients that it's more than a sale, it's become a relationship. So you ask confidently, expectantly to those clients, you ask them for referrals, and we'll get onto that in a few minutes, but our aim is to create a sales force out there. At least that's my aim. And it's so wonderful because just imagine, I don't know if you've had this experience. I'm sure those that have been in business a little while, somebody calls you out of the blue and says, hey, guess what? I heard your name from so-and-so who referred me to you because they're using your product. Wow. That's a gold chain client. They deserve a gift. They deserve recognition. Don't you think? Absolutely. So that's so important that you keep tip number 7 in mind. Tip number 8, some clients friend me. Now that's your choice. If you want to make them part of, know a little bit about the family. I know my wife posts my whole life on Facebook. and that's her passion, and she loves to share good things, positive things. It's great. But some friends that I've had for years that are also Synergy customers are my friends on social media, and they'll follow me on YouTube, and they'll come back and make comments, which is great. So you might, those relationships that you really might solidify can also be solidified on social media. Make them feel special and trusted. Make them feel, they almost feel like they're above the average customer. They're above your average. They're your friend. So that's great. And the last thing here on this slide, ask for testimonials. When you develop that kind of relationship, you feel more comfortable saying, you know what, you've been with me a while, and I know we're friends. I'm going to ask you a favor. I'm trying to get customers to learn about what I do. Do you mind if I could share your story on social media? And some customers will do that, and that's fun. So tip number 9, cross refer business. Some of my clients, my Synergy clients, found me, and they use the Pro-Arginine Plus, for example, for their parents. And these people are professionals. They might be CPAs. They may be financial professionals. They may be tax specialists, and you've known them for 2-3 years. Wouldn't it be nice if somebody asked you, hey, do you know any good tax people? Do you know any good financial person that I said, I happen to know one, and he's great. Let me get you in touch with them. And how about that, right? So you do know people that are experts in their field that possibly you don't have the time, or maybe you don't want to focus on that because you're not an expert, and you just refer them. And of course, that is another, again, a binding relationship that you have with your clients, and you keep them for life. Now, tip number 10, okay, this is the last one, so get your notepads out. We all know that in order to get a client, we have to work. Like I say, we have to make them aware of what we have. We have to pique their interest. They evaluate us. And I'm not saying they evaluate so much the product. They evaluate us. They buy you. They don't buy the product. They buy your relationship, your certainty. And then they commit. And then the sale. So that's a sales funnel, right? And hopefully they refer, so it goes back again. What if we had a funnel that we could call it the post-sale system? Tip number 10, post-sale. We say thank you for the sale. Then we follow up. Then it can vary right here. We could either send a video, send a text, send an email, send a letter in the mail. We call them on occasions. We call them on their birthday. I call my clients on Christmas. I sent out calendars. This past year, I sent out calendars to clients because they were cheap enough for me to do it. And sorry about if there's a spelling mistake there. So, the referrals and we ask for referrals. Who do you know that could use the experience you just had? Who do you know that can transform their life? Very, very important. I use a CRM system. You can use whatever platform you want. There's many out there that are very, very good. And whatever way you use them, whether it be, you can use a simple calendar just to remind yourself that on this day at this time you want to follow up with this customer. And a lot of times they'll call you before that date comes up, but at least put it in your calendar. But have a control, have a system, because what I've talked about systems will save yourself time, effort, and money. If you depend upon your memory, if you depend upon maybe a sticky note, it may not follow through. But if you have a system, a good proven system, you can certainly maximize it. That's what I do. I have pop-ups every day. I have a system where I go in there and I ask for the birthdays. Whose birthday is it today? Let me share a story with you. Okay, this is, as you know, Bob Wishmeyer. Bob, if you're out there, hello. Really promotes, and he believes in different sources of income, having several streams of income. So perhaps some of you have your Synergy business, which is great. I have it, and I thank God I have it because it certainly does benefit the family. I have another stream of income that I happen to call a customer on their birthday, and this happened to be a customer that I lost. I lost because I wasn't an expert in my field. I lost because I didn't know what I was talking about. That was 2 years ago. Yet I kept her birthday. And I called her up 2 days ago. And her name is Perla. I said, Perla, how are you? She goes, oh, how are you, Dave? I know listen, I know you're not my customer, but I want you to know that I make it a point, customer or not, I call on my birthday. When was the last time that someone called you on your birthday for this other, service? She says, never. I says, does your current agent call you for your, oh, no, he doesn't. In fact, I've been trying to call him and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? She wants me back. So as a result of the birthday, and it's happened to me with Synergy customers, I call them, just want to call on your birthday. I hope you're having great. I hope you're feeling wonderful. Oh yeah, I'm glad you called because I need to reorder. Hasn't that happened to you? That is just wonderful. So, that's your post-sale system. That's your lifeline to make the curve go upwards after you've invested upwards. The second sale is 10% of the effort of the first sale. Referrals are 10% of the effort of original sale. So that's how important this system is. So these are my 10 tips. This is what works for me. And I know it's not complete. There's a lot more to this. I haven't even touched on a lot of the powerful tools that are out there. And with that, I wanted to invite Judy and Dan to share at least one thing, what they do, and anyone else that's listening. Please unmute yourself after Judy and Dan talk. If you want to share something that you do, I'm here to learn just as much as you are. So, Judy, if you'll start, just share a little bit about what you do that really works for you in retaining customers.
Well, thanks, Dave. This is a great reminder of some of the things that we all need to do, and it's given me some impetus to start back and doing some of these things. So, thank you very much.
Sure.
One of the things that I like to do is keep my customers just remembering me, which you show so well on your tips. And I do that by giving them other information about health, not necessarily Synergy, although many times I do tie it back, but, tips and techniques. I do my recipes on YouTube. I include those in my newsletter. Doesn't really have anything to do with Synergy, but it creates a connection with those people that, helps them to become friends and keeps you in the uppermost of their mind when they're thinking about their health. They often call me and say, I just have this question, and do you have anything that could help with X? Or what should I do about this challenge? It's just a way to continue to stay in touch with the customer and to let them know that it's not just about the sale, it's about the relationship.
Wow. Thank you, Judy. That's so true. And I appreciate your sharing that because, I was going to ask you, as a result of your newsletter, and does it result to a sale? You just answered it. They're treating you as a resource, which is awesome. So thank you. I'm going to invite Dan, if you could jump in for a minute and share maybe what works for you.
Sure, David. Similar to what Judy was talking about, and before I get into that, I just want to thank you. Excellent presentation today. Some excellent ideas and tips for us to do. I especially need to do the thank you card. I think that would be one of the simplest things that you could do to be able to solidify the relationship or begin that process of solidifying the relationship that you have with your customer, because so often nothing is done on a follow-up sale from anyone in the sales business. So it sets you apart. One of the things that I do, similar to Judy, is I have a newsletter that I send out on the 8th and the 22nd of every month. So there's a defined date for those newsletters. I typically have 2 articles in my health newsletter, and then I try and tie information that can improve people's health. And many times I'll look at ingredients that are within the Synergy products, and then I'll specifically do a tailored article on one ingredient. For example, I just did one on magnesium. So that magnesium article in the importance of magnesium. In fact, last Saturday, we did a whole presentation on the importance of magnesium. But in my health newsletter, that article prompted one of my clients to call me with regards to magnesium. They've been using ProArch 9 Plus. They read my newsletters, they read my articles. They asked me if I had a recommendation in terms of a magnesium product. I recommended the one that we have, the Body Prime. And he uses ProArch 9 Plus. He started using ProArch 9 Plus, and then he wanted to get something from a shake standpoint. So he called me, got on the Biome Shake, and so he ordered more Biome Shake. Plus, he had me add the Body Prime to his order, and then he talked to me about the need for vitamin D, and I said, well, understand. I could have sold him a bottle of the chewable vitamin D from Synergy. But I talked to him. I said, you're already taking 2 scoops on a daily basis. So you're getting 1,600 international units of vitamin D3 per serving. So you're actually getting 3,200 international units on a daily basis. And if you start adding the Body Prime to what you're doing, one of the beauties of magnesium is that it makes the vitamin D absorption more effective. So I don't think that you need to buy the chewable vitamin D3. As long as you keep doing your 2 servings of ProArch Plus and now add Body Prime to what you're doing, the magnesium will help the vitamin D3 in the product, ProArch 9, be absorbed at an even higher level than what you're currently doing, and you'll get better results. So he appreciated that. Instead of me trying to get another sale, which I could. I mean, it's only $18 for a bottle of vitamin D3. What was more important was setting in his mind that I had his best interests in mind, as opposed to wanting more dollars out of his pocket. And so, I did what was right for the client based upon magnesium and how effective it is in terms of absorption of vitamin D3, and reinforced his habit of already doing 2 servings on a daily basis because he gets the big jumbo jar and box. And so that helps to continue what you're talking about, maintaining a customer long-term because you have their best interest in mind. So that's the thing that I do.
And Dan, that absolutely sets you apart, if I could reuse your words, because it shows that, yeah, you are actually giving advice in their best interest, not yours. So, man, that is just great information. And I hope that everyone's really taking notes of that, because I'd like to open up your mic if anyone wants to possibly share what they do and show us, give us a story or tell us what worked for you that the customer came back to you. So I'll pause and see if anyone else wants to share their story. Fantastic, Dan. Well, that's fine. I know that, again, a lot of people are going to be hearing this recording. And really, this type of topic is something I have fun with, because not only do I have fun putting it together, like Judy's saying, it reinforces the importance of what I'm doing and what I should be doing to keep new customers also engaged and in tune with me. So want to thank you for the opportunity to let me share these thoughts with you and these tools, the retention tools, and I hope it goes a long way. That being said, Dan, I'm all through. Thank you so much for coming in, and I wish everyone just a fantastic day.
Thank you, David. Excellent presentation again. You always do an outstanding job.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.